Hello, everybody. In today's lesson, we're going to be working out of Module 7, Lesson 7.3, and we're going to be working on converting within measurement systems. We're on page 185 of the 6th grade Go Math textbook for middle school. So let's go ahead and look at the Explore activity. So we can use a model to convert units. So the two most common systems of measurement are the customary system and the metric system. So we can use a model to convert from one unit to another within the same measurement system. So let's use the model to complete each statement below. So 1 yard we see is 3 feet. Okay, 3 feet per yard. So a yard is bigger than a foot, right? It takes more feet to equal the same unit in 1 yard. 2 yards is going to take 6 feet. 3 yards will be 9 feet, and 4 yards, 12 feet. Okay, so we can then rewrite our answers in step 1 as ratios. So if we have 2 yards, we have 6 feet. 6 feet for every 2 yards. For 1 yard, it would be 3 feet. Right? If we have 3 yards, we have 9 feet. Again, if we have 1 yard, we have 3 feet. And if we have 4 yards, we have 12 feet. So if we look at this, how do you go from 3 feet per yard to 6 feet per 2 yards? Well, didn't we just multiply by 2, right? Or we could say we divided by a factor of 2. Here we divide by a factor of 3 on both the numerator and denominator. And we do the same thing here, except we're dividing by 4. Okay, so the ratio of feet to yards in any measurement is 3 to 1. So any ratio forming a proportion with 3 to 1 can represent a ratio of feet to yards. All right, so 3 to 1 is 12 to 4, so 12 feet equals 4 yards. 54 to 18 is also in the ratio of 3 to 1, so 54 feet is 18 yards. So 1, how could you draw a model to show the relationship between feet and inches? So in this case, the feet would be the larger one, right? And the inches would be smaller. And that ratio is 12 inches per foot, right? So we're going to draw a bar. That's going to represent 1, 2, 3, and 4 feet. Okay, and then we need to break each of the feet into 12 parts. So above the foot, we're going to draw bars with each foot divided into 12 equal pieces. And we're going to label each of the inches as 12, 24, 36, and 48. So again, it would look just like this. Okay, so we're going to draw a bar with feet, and we're going to label them 1, 2, 3, and 4 feet. But instead of up here, instead of having 3 pieces, we're going to have 12 individual pieces for every foot. And so the numbers up here would be 12, 24, 36, 48. And obviously this label here would be inches. All right, so let's look at page 186. So converting units using ratios and proportions. So we can use ratios and proportions to convert both customary and metric units. Use the table below to convert from one unit to another within the same measurement system. Okay, and so these are just our ratios, right? 1 foot is 12 inches. 1 yard is 3 feet. 1 mile is 1,760 yards. If we look at weight, 1 pound would be 16 ounces. 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. If we look at capacity, how much volume something can hold, 1 cup is 8 fluid ounces. 1 pint is 2 cups. 1 quart is 2 pints, and 1 gallon is 4 quarts. And then in the metric system, 1 kilometer is the same as 1,000 meters. 1 meter is the same as 100 centimeters. 1 centimeter is the same as 10 millimeters. In mass, 1 kilogram has a weight of 1,000 grams. 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. And in volume, 1 liter is the same as 1,000 milliliters. Okay, so each relationship in the table can be described by 2 equivalent ratios. For example, 1 quart is 2 pints. So we can write the equivalent ratios as 1 quart to 2 pints, or we can write 2 pints to 1 quart. They're equivalent, right? It's the same thing. All right, example 1. An average human brain weighs 3 pounds. What is that weight in ounces? So we're going to convert 3 pounds to ounces. Okay, so we're going to use a proportion. We know that 1 pound is 16 ounces. So if 1 pound is 16 ounces, how many ounces are in 3 pounds? Well, as they're showing us here, to go from 1 to 3, we're just multiplying by 3, right? So whatever we do to the numerator, we do to the denominator. So 16 times 3 is 48. So the weight of 3 pounds is equal to 48 ounces. Let's look at 187. So a moderate amount of daily sodium consumption is 2,000 milligrams. What would that be in grams? Well, again, we can use a proportion to convert 2,000 milligrams to grams. So the units, milligrams and grams, are metric units of mass, and we can find the relationship of those units in the mass section of the metric measurement table, where it says 1 gram is equal to 1,000 milligrams. So they gave us milligrams, so we're going to have 1,000 milligrams per 1 gram. How did they go from 1,000 to 2,000? Just by multiplying by 2. So multiply 1 gram by 2, we'll get 2 grams. All right, so let's try some of these. What if we wanted to convert 27 feet to yards? Would the number of yards be less than or greater than 27? And how do you know? Well, which one's the larger unit? Are feet larger or are yards? The yards are bigger, right? Because it takes 3 feet to equal 1 yard. So the number of yards will be less than 27 feet. Less than, yes. Because yards are bigger than feet. Okay, think of it this way. If you had 1 yard, you wouldn't say 1 yard is equal to 1 foot, right? A foot is only 1/3 as big as a yard. Okay. In B, what other ratio based on the table could you use? What would your proportion be? So B, we were using the proportion 1,000 milligrams per gram. Well, we can also write that as 1 gram to 1,000 milligrams. And so if we were converting that, we'd say 1,000 times 2 is 2,000 milligrams. And so 1 times 2 would tell us the number of grams. Okay. All right, number 4, use the ratios and proportions to solve. The height of a doorway is 6 feet. What is the height of the doorway in inches? All right, so we know that 1 foot is the same as 12 inches, right? That's the unit rate for inches and feet. So if we have 6 feet, how do you go from 1 to 6? Well, we multiply by 6. So multiply 12 inches by 6. And 6 times 12 is 72. All right, number 5. A recipe calls for 40 fluid ounces of milk. What is the amount of milk called for in cups? So we're going from ounces to cups. Ounces to cups. So I'm going to go ahead and write ounces over cups equals some number of ounces over cups. So if I have 8 fluid ounces, that would be 1 cup. So 8 times what is 40? Times 5. So multiply 1 cup by 5, and we get 5 cups. Okay, Josie's water bottle has a capacity of 2 liters. What is that, the capacity of her bottle in milliliters? So we're going from liters to milliliters. And in every 1 liter, there are 1,000 milliliters. So how do we go from 1 to 2? Just multiply by 2. So 1,000 times 2, 2,000 milliliters. And number 7. A piece of ribbon is 350 centimeters long, and they want to know what that is in meters. So we're going from 1 meter is the same as 100 centimeters. So how many meters are in 350 centimeters? Well, that's times 3 and a half. 3 and a half times 100 is 350. So multiply 1 by 3 and a half. So we're going to get 3 and a half meters. So 100 times 3.5, 350. 1 times 3.5, 3.5. Now let's look at 188. All right, so another way is converting units by using conversion factors. And so another way to convert measurements is by multiplying by a conversion factor. A conversion factor is a ratio comparing 2 equivalent measurements. A ratio comparing 2 equivalent ratios. So let's look at example 2. Elena wants to buy 2 gallons of milk, but can only find quart containers. How many quarts does she need then? She still needs 2 gallons worth of milk, but she has to buy them in quart size pieces or sizes. So here we want to convert gallons to quarts, right? And so the appropriate conversion factor is 4 quarts per gallon. Because when you multiply 2 gallons by that conversion factor, you can divide out the common unit, gallons. And the resulting unit is quarts. And that'll make more sense when we actually just do it. So they're saying that we want 2 gallons. The conversion factor is 4 quarts per 1 gallon. Well, if I was to write it like this, 2 gallons over 1 gallon, we could cross out the units and we would just have 2 over 1. Okay, so that's all they're saying here is that think of this as if they were numbers and we had a 4 and a 4 and we were going to reduce or cancel out the 4s. Okay, we could divide out the 4s, right, because they're the same. We can do the same thing with units. All right, so now we're left with 2 times 4 quarts over 1. Well, that means I only have quarts left as the unit, and 2 times 4 is 8. So I need 8 quarts. Let's try another one. A container of powdered fruit drink mix has a mass of 1 and 2500th kilograms. What is that mass in milligrams? Well, this time we want to convert kilograms to milligrams. There's no equation in our table that is relating kilograms and milligrams directly. So, however, we can convert kilograms to grams first. Convert kilograms to grams first, and then convert the grams to milligrams. So here we're starting with what was given, 1 and 2500th kilograms. And we know that for 1 kilogram, there are 1,000 grams. We want our answer in milligrams, right? So first we're going to change kilograms to grams and then grams to milligrams. So cross out the units for kilograms. That leaves us grams. So 1 in 2500ths times 1,000 is 1,250 grams. Now we can change these grams into milligrams because we know that 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. So we cross out the grams in this case, leaving us milligrams. So 1,250 times 1,000 milligrams is 1,250,000 milligrams. We could also just do that side by side. So we could start with kilograms, and then we're canceling out the kilograms, so we're going to have grams over kilograms. And then we want to cancel out the grams to leave us with milligrams. So the unit that we're eventually winding up with, the one that we want to convert to, that's going to be in the numerator. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, and then when we want to cross out a beginning unit, the first conversion needs to be that unit has to be in the denominator. Okay. All right, so a mass of 1 in 2500th kilogram is equal to 1,250,000 milligrams. All right, so we're going to practice some of these. Okay. Number 8, an oak tree is planted when it is 250 centimeters tall. What is the height of the oak tree in meters? Well, is that a direct relationship? Sure. So we have if we have 100 centimeters, we know that that is 1 meter. So we have 250 centimeters. How many meters is that? Well, 1 times 2.5. So also multiply the denominator by 2.5. So 2.5 meters is the same as 250 centimeters. So, all right, number 9. A pitcher contains 1 3/4 quarts of milk. How many fluid ounces of milk does the pitcher contain? So is there a direct relationship in our table that relates fluid ounces directly to quarts? Fluid ounces to quarts. No, they gave us cups. So we're going to have to work our way from cups to quarts in this example. Okay, so 1 3/4 quarts is what we're starting with. We want to get to fluid ounces. So how many quarts or how many pints are in 1 quart? Well, if we look at our table, 1 quart is the same as 2 pints. So we can go like that, okay? That's going to cancel out the quarts, leaving us pints. We have to get to fluid ounces. So in 1 pint, how many cups are there? In 1 pint, there are 2 cups. So again, now the pints cancel out and we're left with cups. Is that what we want? No, we need fluid ounces. So in 1 cup, there are 8 fluid ounces. So let's see if we got our map right. Quarts are canceling, right? The pints cancel. The cups can be divided out, and I'm left with fluid ounces. Okay, so now we just multiply this. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 8 is 32. Times 1 3/4. Well, let's change that to a fraction greater than 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. So 7/4 times 32. Well, 4 is a common factor of 4 and 32. So 8 times 7 is 56 fluid ounces. All right, let's look at number 1. Use the model below to complete each statement. So relating quarts and cups. For 1 quart, I have 4 cups. In 2 quarts, I have 8 cups. In 3 quarts, I have 12 cups. In 4 quarts, I have 16. So that's in a ratio of 4 to 1, right? 4 cups for every 1 quart. So if I have 12 cups and I have 3 quarts, so 12 cups is equal to 3 quarts. And 4 cups again equals 1 quart. If I have 48 cups, 4 times what is 48? 12. Okay, so 1 times 12, 4 times 12. So 12, 48 cups equals 3 quarts. Let's try number 3. Mary Catherine makes 2 gallons of punch. How many cups of punch does she make? Well, if we look at our chart, again, we don't have straight gallon to cups. So let's start with this relationship. Let's start with this conversion factor. 1 gallon is the same as 4 quarts. So they gave us 2 gallons. And we want to convert that to cups. So for every 1 gallon, is 4 quarts. In every 1 quart, there are 2 pints. And in every 1 pint, there are 2 cups. Okay, so again, they told us to go from gallons to cups. So in every gallon, there are 4 quarts. And in every quart, there are 2 pints. And in every pint, there are 2 cups. So we can divide out the gallons. We can divide out the quarts. We can divide out the pints, leaving us cups. All right, so now we're just going to multiply straight across. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. So 32 cups. Number 4, the mass of a moon rock is 3.5 kilograms. What is the mass of the moon rock in grams? Okay, well, that is a direct relationship, right? For every kilogram, there's 1,000 grams. So 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. They gave us 3.5 kilograms. So what do we have to multiply the 1 by to get 3.5? 3.5. So I'll also multiply 1,000 by 3.5. Okay, remember when we multiply a decimal by a power of 10, we're moving the decimal point that many places. So we're going to move it 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 places. So 3,500 grams. Okay, number 5. A serving of chickpeas contain 1,750 milligrams of potassium. How many grams of potassium is that? So again, grams and milligrams are a direct relationship. So let's use that. So if we have 1,000 milligrams, we're going to have 1 gram. They told us we have 1,750 milligrams. How many grams is that? So what do we multiply 1,000 by to get 1,750? $1.75. Okay, so if we go 1,000 times 1.75, okay. If you get stuck on that one and how do I know it's 1.75, you could also take 1,750 and divide by 1,000. Okay, so that would be 750 left. Add a 0. Okay, so if I take this number and divide by 1,000, that gives me what it was being multiplied by. So I'm going to multiply 1 gram by 1.75, which means I have 1.75 grams. And number 6, on a hike, Jason found a California king snake that was 42 inches long. How many feet is that? Okay, well, that's also a direct relationship, right? Inches to feet. So we have 12 inches equals 1 foot. So the snake was 42 inches. So how do we go from 12 to 42? I can't multiply 12 by anything to get 42 using just a whole number. So I'm going to divide 42 by 12. And that's going to give me 3 and 6/12. Well, that's the same as 3 and 1/2. So if I multiply 12 by 3.5, that's going to give me 42. So I'm going to multiply the feet by 3.5. So I get 3.5 feet. All right, and number 7. How do we convert units within a measurement system? Well, what have we been doing? We can use a model. We use a proportion. Or we can use a conversion factor. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and stop there for the first part of this video. In the next part, we'll discuss the independent practice problems. So until then, I'll see you soon.